March 14th, 2019. So here we are in the greenhouse. With a nice 60-degree sunny day today, and the vents were opening and closing. Check out the previous video on that, which I'll be uploading after I record this, but before you see this. Anyway, this is the Pharmacy Seeds Network. My name is Carlton. Hi. And today we're going to go over pruning a little bit. I've got this avocado tree that my friend Chester gave me, and it's starting to get pretty tall, and that's going to become a problem if I let it keep growing. All this new growth here on top is in the past probably 2 weeks or so. It's really blowing up. I gave it a foliar drench of C-Stim, a product from Advancing Eco-Agriculture, which stimulates plant immunity, among other things. I'm not going to get deep into that, but what I am going to go into is the influence of hormones on plants and how you can manipulate that hormone balance through the use of pruning. So first of all, let's just go over some basics. You can see this plant has multiple branches coming up from the bottom. Each of those branches has new growth on it, in addition to the new growth that you see on top. This greenhouse is only about 8 foot tall at the center. Obviously, because the walkway runs down the center, I can't really put too much in the middle, or I wouldn't be able to get in and out with firewood, etc., etc. So I need to limit the height of this plant, and yet I want to keep it intact and keep it growing and happy and healthy. So let me just go into this from a real basic explanation. If you want to learn more, you should really go check out Advancing Eco-Agriculture's podcast and webinars. And John Kempf, the owner and founder of AEA, goes into much deeper explanations. But I'm going to give you a basic rundown so you can have a simple understanding of it. So there are two basic hormones, at least that we're discussing in this context, that plants use. The two hormones are cytokines and auxins. Cytokines are the root and shoot hormones, and auxins are more for flower and fruit. So there's a continual balance going on in plants, where if plants lose a certain amount of their foliage or get nipped back, that balance gets tipped out, and then there are more cytokines in the plant than there are auxins, and those two cytokines and auxins sort of antagonize each other back and forth. When there's more cytokines, you'll get more root growth, and then because there's more root to support the plant, it'll balance back out and grow out more tips and then ultimately flowers and fruits. So looking at this plant here, I want to limit its height a little bit, but I don't want to affect the plant too much. So one of the rules when you're pruning plants, never prune more than 1/3 of the plant's total mass above ground back at a time. If you do more than that, you tend to end up damaging the plant a bit. If you stay less than that, then you tend not to injure the plant or stunt the plant's growth too much. So that's a basic rule. Never take more than 1/3 of the plant's frame at a time. That doesn't mean that you can't continually prune something and take it down to a different height or change the way the plant is growing. You just have to do it over time so that you don't shock the plant. Alright, so that said, what I'm going to do here on this avocado, because it has all these other new branches coming out here and here and here and here, and then all the lower ones also, and I want to limit its height, but I don't want to limit its growth, I'm going to go ahead and prune back these top couple stalks above where these new branch shoots are coming out. So basically what I'll do is I'll clip that off, and instead of putting all that energy into the upper part of the plant to continue growing this upper canopy, it won't have that upper canopy to supply, and so it'll put that energy into these lower branches, and so these lower branches will flourish out and grow out, and we'll get much more of a bushy plant rather than a tall plant, which in my particular case fits my my layout. Now if I were in California and I were outside growing, I might let this grow taller, but I don't know. I really don't know a whole lot about avocado, so I'm not going to go into great depth on that because I don't have any depth to go into. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do a quick prune on this, and I think I'll just keep the camera rolling. I apologize if the camera's a little unsteady, but just want to make this real simple and straightforward for you. So I'm going to go just above where that new branch coming out is, and I'm just going to clip the top of this off. I probably could take this, given that it's got so much new growth on it, I probably could take this and trim down a lot of this extra leaf structure and trim a 45-degree angle on this, like this, and trim off a couple of these lower branches to promote, to give a place for new root sites to take. And I probably could stick this into some moist soil with decent nutrition, and it probably would root. The other thing I would do is take some of this excess leaf off. We don't want to try to support a massive plant. And let's see, I probably would even do something like this, and maybe even this. You want to really reduce the leaf workload of a plant if you're taking cuttings for growth. My whole purpose of this is not to take cuttings, although I may stick this in just to see if it roots, sort of as a demonstration and a test. And who knows, maybe we'll get another avocado. Positive things about taking cuttings of plants: when you take a cutting of a plant, it's called a scion, and it is an exact genetic duplicate of the mother plant. So if you have a plant that has particular characteristics and you want to copy those exact characteristics, cloning or taking cuttings is an excellent way to propagate. And so the cutting that you take is called a scion. Alternatively, most plants reproduce sexually or asexually and produce seeds, and those will have a little bit more genetic variation than something like a clone here, where you take a cutting. Anyway, back to my main point here. Let's see. This has another nice branch coming out here. I'm afraid that's probably going to go too tall later on, but I think I'm going to leave it for now, and we'll prune it back again later if it does go too tall. So we're just going to clip right here above that, and that's it. We're done. We've pruned this plant back, and all the energy that was going into those upper shoots now will go out into the lower branches and leaves, and this plant will bush out more. And so what I've done is reduce the number of auxin hormones available in this plant, and I've tipped the balance. I've reduced the total auxin content in the plant, and so now there's a balance in favor of cytokines coming from the root system for roots and shoots, and this plant will go ahead and branch out and bush out. I'll come back to this in a couple of weeks probably and get an update clip of it for you. But I just want to go over some of the basics of how plant hormones work, how pruning works, and how cytokines and auxins are always antagonizing each other. So I hope this helps someone. I hope you found this informative. Love to hear any comments or questions you have down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video or you want to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network.